president went into a meltdown yesterday when he met with Democrats. You know, both Democrats and Republicans alike condemned him for what occurred inside of Turkey and Syria. So they went to meet with the president. The president just simply had a meltdown. Apparently he was out there insulting and everybody out there. So what did the president do? In his wisdom of thinking that he's going to upset somebody, he does this. He puts out that picture. In that picture, what you see is you see Speaker Pelosi surrounded by a whole army of men around a table with probably 20-something people. That's our government. That's the executive of our government meeting the leaders of the legislative branch. And there is one petite, not even tall woman confronting the president. All the men around that table, heads are looking away from her, looking away from the president, looking down. Where is the power in that room with a woman? The power in that room says much. So when Donald Trump thought he was releasing this thing here to somehow make her look like some crazy woman, it just shows you in the back of his head what's not working. That he doesn't understand that this is no longer a patriarchy. That room does look like it is still a patriarchy, and 2020 better do something about it. 2020 better make a room like that look more like America, because that Nancy Pelosi is holding it up there for everybody else. She is surrounded by a bunch of timid, meek men. If I blow that picture up, and let me go ahead and blow that picture up so you can actually see these guys. Check that out. Look at those guys looking down or looking away from the president. And the president jeering at her, and she's like, you have no power over me, you little man. And look at the guys. Those are the heads of our militaries, the head of different institutions in there. And there is Nancy Pelosi showing, I stand down to nobody. That is, if we are going to break the fascist that we are moving into right now, that is what we're going to be talking about, folks. Nancy Pelosi, I got to tell you, I could not be prouder than watching you while those men sit back there with their heads in their butts, with their heads looking down, instead of somebody saying, how dare you speak to another person like that, Mr. President? How do you speak to the leader of the other branch of the government, the co-equal branch of the government? How do you dare speak to that person like that, Mr. President? Look at those guys. It is time. It is time for a shakeup in the leadership of this country, else a fascist can take over. Because what you have there is a bully that all these other men are scared of, and a woman says, absolutely not. Niet. And who is this bully that people are so scared about? Somebody that writes an amateur letter like this. This is the amateur letter this guy writes to another head of state to tell them, after he has told them, if you invade, it's no big deal to us. And then when he got caught, he sent them an infantile letter that says, dear Mr. President Erdogan, let's work out a deal. You don't want to be responsible for slaughtering thousands of people, and I don't want to be responsible for destroying the Turkish economy, and I will. I've already given you a little sample with respect to Pastor Brunnen. I have worked to solve other of your problems. Don't let the world down. You can make a great deal. General Mussolini is willing to negotiate with you, and he's willing to make concessions that they would never have made in the past. I'm confidentially enclosing a copy of his letter to me just received. This is your president. My daughter, when she was in the 7th grade, could write a better political letter than that. That is who these guys have their head down to. Brothers and sisters, what is going on in America? How dare us have somebody like that? How dare us have somebody who writes a letter like that lead us? And when we have a room like this filled with men with their heads down, looking away from the president, unable to look the Speaker of the House of the United States in the eye. Let's get with the program. Let's realize what's going on here. And with a quiet Republican Party, how dare us give the possibility that somehow we are scared of a woman, a supposedly democratic socialist, and many others. How dare us fear that they could be better than that?